And then moving on from Wild Explorers, we then rolled into the next project. So in this case, it was a new tropical house we wanted to build. The project was called Energy for Life. We're taking waste from around the zoo, the animal waste, and we're going to process that, turn it into heat. And then the whole building itself talks about this conundrum of waste and energy. And of course, these are issues which everybody faces at home as well. So there's some relevance and resonance with the visiting public. And this is quite a complicated building. It was an expensive build for us, £7.8 million, a lot of money. And it needed to take into consideration having a lot of animals in a small space and imaginatively having areas or spaces for them so it looked like they were all in together, even they weren't possibly. So a little bit of trickery, theatre, if you like, and making sure that the guests could navigate that space well and use the space to maximum effect, which we've done beautifully. We have a double loop journey going through the building, so we had the footprint twice over, if you like. And there are a few surprises in that building as well for guests in the pathway through it, so that's really exciting. And having to deal with temperature and humidity and biosecurity, so lots of complex issues there. And at the same time, not wanting to build this sort of grand architectural fancy, but actually having something which is relevant and appropriate for us. And we got that. We got this beautifully simple building in many ways. But that's the magic of it. It sits as a modern building adjacent to a Grade 1 building, and they just seem to sing in harmony against one another. So we've had the best of both worlds there. We've had this elegant, simple design, but the execution of it has been absolutely amazing. And the experience, again, working with Tor&co in terms of that delivery has been excellent. And as someone said to me the other day, it's not often you get guests photographing the actual building, let alone the animals. So we're absolutely delighted with that. And we're still having that building settle in. We've got animals to settle in, we've got plants that need to grow. But the building, in all its quite specific requirements and tolerances, is working like a dream. So we're absolutely thrilled with that.
Space was relatively tight on this project, and we were really keen to actually sort of keep the experience fresh and to actually, so you kind of get lost within this space, not only within the attraction and the fit out, but actually within the architecture. We worked very closely with the animal team at Marwell and looked at different places for different animals. They had quite a view in the first place about what kind of animals they actually wanted within the space, but we worked together to actually see where those locations would actually work. We've actually looked at this area being areas for a sloth. Then, coming off the skywalk onto a cliff edge situated to the north. Again, a different sort of feeling, so we passed over a timber boardwalk in the air and then getting on to terra firma, but actually slightly edgy because you're actually looking down into the space. At the end, creating a bridge, and then between this area, a clearing. At the moment, we're sort of looking at tortoises and various small animals within here. Potential room for another sloth within this area, and then coming back to ground as we circulate back and underneath the boardwalk. Marwell also wanted to look at creating part of the exhibit to actually explain the Energy for Life philosophy. The building itself, situated behind a large retaining wall. The route then sort of meanders through this space into one of the highlights, which is an area for a monitor lizard that's kind of situated within this final zone. Different conditions. We've actually got a rock face that divides the tropical house into two. Different climatic conditions between the main tropical house and this area. This, because of the monitor lizard, needed to be considerably higher in temperature. And it becomes a goodie on the way out as you exit the building into an informal garden space towards the south.
The exhibit is constructed utilizing ETFE material. It's pronounced ethylene tetrafluoroethylene. In simple terms, it allows natural daylight penetration into the space. Effectively, it is conducive to generating microclimates internally. It is also 100% recyclable and requires minimal supporting structure due to being extremely lightweight. In combination with natural ventilation, rainwater harvesting and the sprinkler system, Marwell was able to regulate the internal temperature and moisture levels. With solar radiation, effectively you're able to create a tropical environment and climate for flora and fauna to occupy, whilst the external temperature could be 15 degrees below. When we imagine and design the built environment, we use varied tools and varied techniques to test the ideas and the functionality. Some of these are CAD, BIM, VR and sketching. Really, the intent is to be mindful and utilize minimal resources and energy. It is fundamental and crucial step towards becoming carbon neutral.